What's up, everybody? This is Phil Rogacki.
And I'm Jared Abergina.
You're listening to Two Tree Guys Podcast. What's up, everybody? Phil Rogacki here with Mr. Andy. Hearing your story today. How you say your last name?
Harem.
Harem.
As in a harem of elk.
A harem of elk. And I've never heard of that.
A harem of women.
And like I was just telling Andy a minute ago, I didn't take him as a hunter. You know, I just didn't. No, I'm just kidding. You do look like a hunter.
Come on,
I'm surprised
dude.
you didn't wear camo to training today.
Well, you know that camel rope that was out there. I sequestered that just so I could go set up some tree stands and kind of blend into the forest more, because all of our ropes in this industry, they're so bright. They're so, you know,
colorful.
Oh yeah, you gotta have hunting orange on in rifle season. But I'm a big archery hunter, so camo's that's where it's at.
Camo's it. And you said you're gonna get Jared mountain lion hunting out here.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, I am not.
Well, thanks for the invite, because I like hunting too.
Hey.
And trust me, I'm way more of a hunter than that dude. He can't show me one picture of one thing he's ever killed besides a rat in a mousetrap.
Man, there's nothing more satisfying.
If you're listening to this, I'm messing with you.
Getting up in the mountains and just honestly being back to our Neanderthal, like the roots of what makes us human, you know. Like,
You follow the Liver King?
yes, I do. Dude, that guy is insane. I can't. Some of his stuff I just can't handle. I'm like, bro, you're so roided out.
Oh, I know.
You want some juice?
Yeah,
Seriously.
I know. They supposedly.
I hope he doesn't hear this. I mean, he probably hunt me down himself, but you know. But yeah,
The funny thing is, I'm going to tag him in the show when I post it. Liver King. Liver King, if you hear it, his name's Andy. He lives at 411. Just kidding.
Yeah, full respect, bro. You're a monster. I'm just saying, like, you look.
He's a little dude. He's short.
What?
He's a little dude.
I'm a little dude.
I watched him walk. He was walking like downtown in some city, and he was like, looked like he was like 5'2".
No way.
Unless he had guys that were like 8 feet tall. He looked like a little guy.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't look big at all.
He was like Tom Cruise size?
Yeah, that's what I seen in the video, but who knows? And Liver King, you got a problem with it? I live in California. Come find me, but find Andy first.
Yeah, come out to Colorado. Hunt me down in the mountains, dude. Get challenged.
So let's hear your story, man.
All right,
let's hear your story.
Yeah, so I was born in Minnesota. My parents were both going to school out there.
What part of Minnesota?
In the Twin Cities. Yeah.
Bob's from Minnesota.
Oh, hey, Bob.
You betcha. You betcha.
Oh, don't you know it there?
Don't you know it?
Yeah, you betcha. Actually, one of my favorite tree guys, Charlie Wagner, who was just out here for this academy training. He put on an amazing show.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that actually inspired me to get into training, because I trained underneath Charlie Wagner, and he's from Minnesota, and he's just the nicest guy you've ever met. You know, like
funny too. Super funny.
The more I hang out with him, I get back into that old minute. You know, I was a young kid when I moved away, but still, that oh yeah, sure, you betcha. Yeah,
I was listening to Bob and Charlie, and what was the name of Bob of the restaurant you went to? Oh, I can't hear you.
Your mic's off.
Oh, it was a restaurant. And Bob's like, "Oh, you ever been to here?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, they used to do that. Oh yeah, the hoedown. Oh, on Thursday night." Or it wasn't the exact story, but talking that way, I'm just looking at him. I'm like, "You guys have never met, but you guys were from different towns, but you guys acted like you grew up together."
Yeah.
Like, oh man, oh yeah, she ain't around no more, but somebody else took on the business.
Oh, you bet. Yeah. Going to the grocery store, yo. What? Yeah. No. So I was born there. I was a little kid. We moved to Colorado. And why'd
you move?
Both my parents are really big into outdoors, just everything, rock climbing especially. I was into rock climbing when I was 4 years old, and I got into competitive rock climbing when we moved to Colorado. So right away I was at a gym. I was doing competitions, kind of fired me up, and that was the first sport I was really into. And then from there, I was a wrestler. I swam for a little bit, but I'm a short guy, which short guys in swimming don't do as well. So I did gymnastics, and
That's why you were a good wrestler.
well, yeah, I mean, just
Yeah.
kind of body awareness and that kind of thing.
Does
So
Colorado have good wrestling?
they have great wrestling.
Do they?
Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So my whole goal was to go to college with a wrestling scholarship.
Yeah.
That was the idea. So I put in a lot of time. I was a junior Olympic diver because they in Colorado, the gymnastics teams all got cut from Title IX. So none of the schools had men's gymnastics anymore. So my parents were like, hey, this is kind of like gymnastics, but you jump into the water instead of on your feet, and so I got
Can you
into
do backflips and all that stuff?
yeah, oh, yeah.
Still?
I haven't done a standing backflip on the concrete in here yet, but yeah, I can still pull a backflip off.
That's pretty cool.
And the handstands, all this, good stuff. So anyways, yeah, we moved out here. I got into different sports because in Minnesota, it was all about ice hockey, and wrestling was huge in Minnesota. And we came out here, got into junior Olympic diving, that wrestling still, and then I kind of in high school I had to make a decision like which one was going to be my main sport, because that whole saying, jack of all trades, master of none. So I had to kind of choose one, and I chose wrestling. It just kind of fit more my mentality, and I really excelled more in that. So I did freestyle and tried to really push myself there. And I actually ended up going so after high school, I went to the University of Wyoming, and I was a walk-on at University of Wyoming.
Nice.
Wrestling D1, which was a real kick in the ass.
Yeah, I bet.
And I got handed a real taste of what being a man was all about.
You feel what real man strength is when you step in for the first time.
And cutting weight. I mean, that was the thing. I was like, they built me up to 185 preseason.
185?
Heaviest I've ever been. And then my coach was like, all right, we need you at 141s. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. Now, what was your senior year weight? Where'd you wrestle?
152s. So yeah, my natural body weight's like 160. So like 152s was comfortable. I was strong. I felt healthy, and I did well at state, but I didn't. I placed at state. I took fourth at state.
Nice.
I lost my last match, but I still. From there, that's why I was a walk-on. I didn't get a scholarship. I actually got a scholarship for art. Which was weird.
Wait.
Yeah, so I grew up working for Loveland is a hub, actually, in Colorado for sculpture. And I grew up working from age 11 until I graduated high school, working for a bronze sculptor. So, yeah. It's a strange story, man.
I cannot wait till you
hear
come
my
to
story.
California. Guys, listen, what you're hearing today is just giving bits and pieces, but when he comes out to California for the next training we're going to have, you're going to hear the full show.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so anyhow,
gymnastics, an artist, a wrestler, a tree guy, a hunter. I mean, what else? What else? You've done it all.
Not all. No, not even close, man. That's the thing is like I think if they ever had that testing for ADHD, if I ever would have been tested, my parents just tried to put me into everything, so I had multiple things I could concentrate on because I couldn't stay. I was okay at academics. Parents pushed that a lot, but I wasn't the greatest student because I just wanted to be outside. Like I was drawn to that. So yeah, I was a huge wrestler. I loved it. I still love it. I'm still doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, BJJs, like
nice.
my old, I call it old man wrestling because you can go slow and you can still get your heart rate up and train.
Did it feel weird getting on your back?
It still feels weird. I'm still uncomfortable, man. I'm not. It's out of my comfort zone, which I like. That's is a challenge. So but it keeps my brain really engaged. So that helps. So from where we're at. So I went to Wyoming for a year on an art scholarship, which was really strange. just because I was the only guy. Like, we had to have study credits, right? Like, for wrestlers, were by far the worst academic guys in the whole school. So we had to go and sit there and do our homework. My homework happened to be painting or drawing or something, and the ladies would come up to me and be like, hey, what are you doing here? Anyways, so I did that. It was a great experience. I just realized, like, my life was just living blood, sweat, and tears, like nothing but wrestling all season. And in the end, I thought, well, what am I going to do with this? I'm not good enough to be an Olympian.
Yeah.
Like, I understood that. I just love it. You know, it's fun. It's really hard. So I started to make some decisions as I was young when I graduated. I was 17. I was put in school younger than most kids, and so I was 18 years old, and I was like, I've always felt drawn to the military. So went to recruiters, got signed up with the Marine Corps, and went to the Marine Corps after 1 year of school, and did that. That was an amazing experience, but also, like, probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about leadership, honestly. Like, I saw a lot of amazing leaders and a lot of not so good leadership. But it also gives you a lot of time to think about when you're standing there for hours and hours and doing kind of the most mundane things you could ever imagine, and then you're also in the most high-risk situations you can possibly imagine. It just kind of it gives you perspective on life. Like, what do I actually want to do? Where do I want to be? So I did that. When I got out, I immediately I was a bum. I just wanted to be free, because I had been locked down for so long. I had been told what to do, and I had all these ideas. I wanted to see the world and rock climb and just see the mountains. So I moved to Banff, Canada, and I was trying to be an ice climbing guide, which was the worst idea ever, because I moved up there with a girl. And the girl didn't work out, and the job I was just doing what I did in the Marine Corps, which is packing heavy loads into the mountains for, like, really no reason. So moved up there for a few months, decided that wasn't really where my life should be headed, and so I moved back. Well, I drove back down in my little Tacoma that I was living out of, in the back of my truck. Climbed all over the place, climbed Yosemite, climbed in Wyoming, just anywhere in the western United States that I could, just having fun, being free, living in the back of your truck. It was a great experience. And then I got a job as a rafting guide, which was also, like, that's where I've met some of the greatest people. They're still friends of mine to this day. Really, actually pretty close to here, a river I still raft on. And so that kind of honed me in, and I was like, man, I like being up in the mountains, I like guiding, I like teaching people, I like kind of interacting with people a lot. And at the same time, my parents were very adamant that I finish my degree, so went back to school, started finishing that degree. Thought I was going to go into the medical field, because I said, those guys make good money, but they also have time off. Like, I should have thought about firefighting or whatever. During that time, a good buddy of mine, my mentor in rock climbing, said, hey man, I think you would really like tree work. And he was the one guy who he was putting himself through law school at the time, and said, hey dude, come out and just be my groundie. Come out and work on the job. So I did that, and that's what honestly got me into tree work, was a rock climbing mentor I had who had taught me from.
And he was doing tree work?
He was doing tree work. Yeah.
And he was like, dude, just come be a groundie with me.
Yeah, he's like, dude, he could just tell right away. He's like, you're gonna love this. You get to suffer. You get to be on the ground. You get to do dangerous stuff. Like, you'll dig this. So I started doing that. I got my start actually in Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah.
Working for a lot of very, very ritzy, areas in that part of Colorado, and then progressed from there. I became a foreman after a year and a half, 2 years. I moved my way up.
The same company?
Well, so he laid me off after the first season, because I was just a ground guy, right? And they got slow in the winter, and he's like, hey, I gotta cut you loose. Let me know if you want to come back next season. Went out, got all my own stuff. I bought the cheapest saddle I could find, found a rope, just borrowed a buddy's chainsaw, went out, started doing a couple jobs on my own, came back to him the next season and said, hey man, throw me up there. I was still going to school. So I said, hey, I can only do, the days that I made my schedule so I could work for him 3 days a week. And I said, I'm trying to finish my degree, but I still want to be here. And now I can climb. Put me up, coach. Like, get me in the tree. So he started putting me in the tree. And by the time I was done with my degree, I was kind of done with that company too, because I saw a lot of things that I could tell were unsafe or just not very.
Yeah.
At that point, I started branching out, and I went to a tree stuff party, which kind of changed my entire mentality about this industry. Which
Why is that?
They let you play with equipment and gear, and I met people in the community, which was honestly the biggest turning point for me, was saying, oh my God, there is so many things out here and so much knowledge out there and so many places to go with this. I don't have to work for this little mom and pop shop and do unsafe stuff. And so I made the decision right then. I found another company that was looking for a foreman, looking for somebody to lead. And I applied for the job. I got the job. Went to a different city, Fort Collins, which is northern Colorado, where Colorado State University is. And I worked for that company for 3 years. At the same time, I was still doing during that time, I was still doing reserve duty. And I still kind of felt drawn to go back to the military because I missed it. I missed the brotherhood. I missed the structure of it, and how guys I was with were really devoted and really dialed in. So I met who now is my wife, but we were dating at the time, and I said, hey, look, I'm thinking about going back into the military. What do you think? And she's like,
well, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, she's like, I thought you were over
a family, and you're like, I'm going to go back in the military.
It's like, I thought you were over this, but I said, no, this is my dream. When I was in the Marine Corps, I never got a chance to go to special operations, which is where I felt like I really would fit in. So I went back to the military, in the Navy, which, doing not really a branch transfer because the Marine Corps is actually part of the Navy, and if nobody knew that, but
my dad was a Marine.
Yeah, so I mean, they're the men's department, as we call it.
They were the men. He was recon.
Oh yeah. See, so I didn't get a chance to go to recon. I always wanted to, so I put in a packet for it. That got denied because I was a reservist at the time, and I went to the Navy and talked to them, and they're like, well, you can apply for special operations with us, and you can go SWIC, SEAL, EOD. You already have time in. So I got a SEAL contract, and we got married 2 weeks before I left for Buds, and went to Buds. I got injured and got medically disqualified from special operations. And then we had a decision to make. It was like, well, at that point, I'd already fulfilled my reserve duty and my 8 years, basically. And so she said, obviously, I'd like to move back to Colorado. That'd be wonderful. So I said, yeah. So I called the guys up I knew in Colorado, still doing trees. And even I was telling a guy today, we're doing runs. We're out there just suffering. And my mental state at that point was looking around and just be like, oh, look at that tree. The thing needs to be pruned. I know how to take that out. It was just like, it was my escape, was thinking about, yeah. So I knew I still loved it, right? So when I got out, went right back into tree work, and that's my.
And how long ago was that?
That was, let's see, so 2010 I got into tree work. In 2014 I came back and started full time being this is it. I'm back in my life.
8 years straight. You've been doing this.
Yeah.
And now you're trainer, Colorado, for the academy.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
I was pushing it.
That's cool, man.
I always want more. I always want to be.
I've learned a lot about you today, and based on what I heard about you and kind of your mentality, it's I know what I need to do to keep you improving, keep you growing, and someone like yourself. I mean, I need to throw everything at you
Please
You
do.
know, the more the merrier,
Yep.
right? The more challenges, you need challenges.
Yes.
You know, you need that next thing of it can't be done, but Andy's going to do it.
You want to figure it out, man.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, man. I didn't know some of this about you, and it's cool to hear that story for that, because there's going to be a lot more that's going to be coming.
Good.
A lot more. And we need someone to lead the whole thing and build it all here.
Wait a minute. Jared's the leader, man. He's the general, right?
Not in Colorado.
Oh. Okay.
Not in Colorado. Not in Colorado. He might be the president, but he's not the governor of Colorado, right? So
I always revert back to the military terms. So general, lieutenants, that kind of thing.
yeah, he's the president of the academy, but he's not going to run each state.
Okay.
They need that person to run the state and build this, to be on the committees, to continue to building the education, the training, make Colorado awesome. I was talking to a young lady, Jackie, that works with New Jersey Crane. You know Jackie?
New Jersey Crane. Did she move from Colorado?
She was from Colorado.
Okay. Does she still have kind of a dready mohawk?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love Jackie. The first 2 competitions I ever did in the tree world, Jackie was in my group the first year and the second year, and we made a great connection. She's awesome,
cool, man.
Yeah.
She was telling me, her passion's in Colorado, and some cities she's like, F them, they are hacks, they don't care about training. But then there were certain cities she was like, this is my community. They love training. They love education. They love coming together. But how do we make that for the whole state? And that's the goal here is how do we connect the whole state?
Absolutely.
How do we bring us all together to make Colorado better at what we do? To make it a profession that everybody knows you can have this be a profession in your life, kind of thing. So I'm excited to see what you do with the academy here, man.
Hey, man,
just cross tree service of what they set up here in Loveland, Colorado, and yourself being able to take this and build something great, man.
Yeah, put me in, dude.
You're in, dude. You were in the last 2 days.
Just give me more. The more you challenge me, the more I'm gonna rise to the occasion. Yeah. And that's honestly, I can't give enough credit to Chris and Kurt here. If I hadn't have met them, if I hadn't have come on, I came on as a contractor with them initially, and those guys are they took me to the next level, and they introduced me to Jared. They introduced me to a lot of the competition guys that I had never met before. Got me into training. If I didn't know them, I wouldn't have done some training prior to academy, and it really, I love teaching. I love sharing because it makes you have to be excellent and precise at what you do. And it honestly challenges you to be a leader. And to be a leader, you need to know everybody's job better than they know it. And you need to be able to give that motivation to the guys that are underneath you, at the same time being humble and being knowledgeable enough to always be trying to push them as well. So to me, that's the bread and butter of our industry getting elevated as academies.
Exactly.
Their mantra is to take somebody who is looking for more and give them a path forward, and being on that path, having those days where this is just another day in the trees. No, I want you to do something different today that you didn't do yesterday.
Small wins.
Small wins. And you're going to go home and you're going to think about that, and you're going to come back tomorrow and you're going to nail that again, and you're going to keep doing it. That's how I felt when I first started. I was like, man, I could do that. I'm going to try. I'm going to go outside of work. I'm going to go climb some trees just because I want to get better. So when I show up to work, I can prove myself. And the biggest thing is everybody wants to make more money and be more comfortable with where they're at. And the only way to do that is to have a path forward.
Yeah.
I feel like so many companies don't give people either the availability of training or at least an idea of this is the way that you can progress here.
Yeah.
And this is the way that we can take ownership of what we do and really be as safe as we can, but also as productive. Because a lot of guys think, to be productive, I need to be a cowboy. I just need to roll with this as fast as I can.
Go.
Yeah, which is not the case.
No.
But it takes more mental capacity and actually a lot more individual like motivation to go outside of work and try things low and slow and practice. And that, if you can do that, if you have that motivation, that drive, you're going to excel at anything you do. It doesn't matter, tree world or whatever, but trying to instill that into the guys that are working with you or working around you or under you, if you're actually in a leadership position, is, I mean, that's key. You have to have that.
So what wisdom, what tips from the top that you can give the individual today who's listening right now? What kind of truth
from my perspective or other guys?
Anything you want to say from you to them who's listening, who's watching, what kind of wisdom can you give them or tips that you can give them that will help them be a better human being, be a better professional, and have a win today?
Okay, the first thing that comes to mind is honestly health and diet, because I see a lot of guys in this industry that don't take care of themselves. You know, they go home or they take a break and they take a smoke. Or one of the best guys I ever knew that taught me a lot in the trees, he would be smoking like a chimney all the way, you know, ascending 50 feet. And I was like, that's amazing, because I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, and I don't ever want to, because I think it would hamper my ability to perform, right? But the biggest thing that I do see in our industry is guys not being self-conscious enough about their health and their sleep and what they're doing after work that is affecting how they perform at work. So if they're frustrated with where they're at, it's just like, hey man, like, come work out with me, just go on a run with me, or do something fun after work that's active, and you're going to feel so much better about yourself. That those endorphins are going to kick in, man. And when you get to work, you're not going to be tired. You're actually going to outperform everybody that you're around. Yeah. You know, so
that's good.
You know, I was a CrossFit instructor for a long time. Not anymore, because I'm too into the tree world, but I still train in my house. But, you know, that's another thing, is like having that little bit of motivation, just do something for yourself that makes you healthier is so important, because you come to work, you can think clearer when you are in a healthy and rested mind state, you know. I don't know. I see that a lot in our industry. That's my first whatever. What did you call it?
Tips from the top, wisdom.
Take care of yourself.
That's good.
The other thing is stay up to date with the latest and greatest what's out there. You know, look at what other people are doing and do some like study. Maybe I love what I do more than other people, but looking at new rigging techniques, looking at new climbing techniques, and just constantly staying on the cutting edge and the tip of the spear with where this industry is going. And this doesn't mean that you need to go out and buy. I see a lot of guys that go out and buy all this stuff. Yeah. It's like, time out, dude. You can utilize the things that you have and implement them and make your mind. Your mind is your greatest tool. If you have more tools in the toolbox in your mind, you can take a lot of stuff that you have and implement those latest and greatest techniques. Yeah. Maybe it is that one piece of gear that's going to kind of help you get there and be more efficient, but doing just some, you know, everybody watches Instagram and whatever, YouTube, you know, but try those things outside of work. Yeah. Take them low and slow and say, oh, this technique, yes, it worked, but it doesn't work in every situation. Not for me, not for the trees I'm in. Because everybody that you're seeing these videos from, they're climbing different areas. Like they're climbing different species. They're dealing with different stuff. So what works for you the best? That's my biggest thing, is like, just always progress, but
don't go overboard.
Don't go overboard. Yeah.
Well, dude, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the 2 days of hard work and dedicating your time to invest in these individuals and giving it your all, man. You gave your all. I watched it. From the back, from the side, on camera. You guys will see it. You gave it your all, man. And these people, they felt that, and they got that experience today because of what you put into it. So, guys, listen, Andy, how do you say it again? Harem, like the elk. The elk.
I get a lot of crap for this, you guys, because
Andy the elk.
Everyone calls me Harem, because I'm not Middle Eastern. Nothing against Middle Eastern people, but I'm just like, I'm not. I'm Irish and I'm Norwegian and I'm Basque, which no one knows that.
The man that's had every profession there is in the world and has been an instructor for everything that's been crazy and out there. You've done it all, my friend. And I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah.
We're going to have you out there. We're going to hear more of your story. We're going to get more in depth. But guys, again, if you like the show, share it, tag somebody. This is how we grow this and we do more of these podcasts. So we don't ask for money. We don't have sponsors that are paying us money to give stupid ass commercials in the middle of it. They give us discounts on some stuff, but that's about it. So share this, man. And remember, continue to elevate the standard of our industry through safety, through training, through innovation. We appreciate everybody and your hard work you do every single day. We love you. Take care. Bye.
Thanks.